Hey, what's up turtles? It's Krik here with Black Owl Outdoors. And today I'm going to be doing a video on how to make a wool blanket camp chair, which I'm sitting in right now. It's very comfortable, super easy to make. And now I'm going to sort of explain the ins and outs of it, take it apart, and show you how to make it. The frame of the camp chair is just two poles lashed together. This can be done using a tripod, which will make the chair movable. Excuse me, place it anywhere you want. I have these two poles at camp. I'm using these. Don't want to cut any more wood down. What you can do is with the tripod, have this propped against a tree, as you can see. It's lashed together up here with this white cordage. I then have a second piece of cordage, paracord right here, going around the lashing to sort of act as the hang for the chair. Another piece of paracord that's wrapped around the blanket in a prusik hitch. The wool blanket is folded on itself lengthwise. I have it bunched up here on the top. And then just a piece of wood threaded through. Just threaded through. That does not need to be tied. And then my weight keeps it all stationary. It's very comfortable, and being that it's the winter months, having this wool blanket actually stops the draft. You might think it's could be kind of chilly sitting on this off the ground, but because it's a wool blanket, actually it's very warm being off the ground. Great for wintertime activities. So I'm going to get it apart and show you how to make it. All right, now that I have everything taken apart, the first step of getting the chair put together is I'm going to lash the frame together. I have it propped against a tree right now to the angles I want it, sort of the height of the crux. And the few things I kept in mind before I actually lashed this together is this width right here. Making sure that it's wide enough that I sit in it, my shoulders aren't touching it, that I have enough room to move around. That's the first thing to keep in mind. And the second thing is, since I am propping it against a tree, this sort of cross point, I needed it to be at a certain distance so that when I prop it, there's enough, the chair is high enough off the ground to give me a comfortable seat. This is pretty good. This is where I like it, and now I'm just going to lash it together as it's propped against the tree. And out of the pieces of cordage I have with me, I'm going to use this nylon, sort of cheap cordage, and save the paracord for the weight bearing of the chair. I'm going to use the jam knot to start off this lashing. Put in a slip knot. Done a video on the jam knot. I'm not going to spend any time going over it right now. You can reference that video if you're not familiar with it. That's good. Happy with that. Follow me over to the ground tarp, get the wool blanket prepped. I'm going to fold the blanket on itself lengthwise. This is opened up. I'm holding it lengthwise, perpendicular to the ground. As the two ends meet, that end of the blanket, I'm going to get a bunch Then I'm going to wrap around, I'm going to tie a piece of cordage to, but to do that, get that bunch, I'm just going to sort of fold it on itself accordion style. That way it'll give the blanket a nice lay when I wrap it, and as I sit in it, it'll be pretty even. The material will spread on itself pretty evenly. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm happy with that. Get that bunch kind of small. Next step, get out a piece of paracord. Save this piece. I'm going to use a prusik hitch for this because I sort of wanted the weight of my body spread out on this, as opposed to if I would just wrap this in the same spot, it'd be a lot of stress on one spot. It might not hurt the blanket, it may stress the fibers, so this way I'm just going to do it. It's worked. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it for the video. Alright, that's good the way it is. You can see how the weight is sort of distributed over each of these wraps as opposed to just, say, the width of my finger. That way it shouldn't stress the fibers too many or in one specific spot. Should distribute a little bit better. Got that good. I'm going to leave this here for now. Go back over to the frame. I'm going to use a bowline to tie this around because it's really not that difficult to untie even in this cold weather. If I can do it, you know, in under 10-15 seconds, untie a load-bearing knot like this, I'm going to use it. So I'm going to do a bowline. Paracord is going to stretch a little bit. It's part of 550's characteristic, but when I put my weight on it, it's definitely going to stretch. I'm trying to compensate that for a little bit. I got this extra. This is definitely just much longer than I need for this application, but I'm not going to cut it down because I'm going to reuse this at a later date. All right, that's good. Get my wool blanket now. A carabiner will work really well at this next step. I could just hang here, tie a knot here, and then clip it together, but I don't have one on me for today, so I'm gonna have to actually tie this around. This loop I use with the bowline. Not a big ordeal. I'm just going to do an overhand knot. Be plenty of strong and won't be that difficult to untie in this cold weather. Now I have that hanging. Last and final step, get this length of wood I have. I took off the bark, the the high spots, the rough spots. I don't want to tear my blanket, so I sort of smooth it off to where the blanket's going to make contact with this. The blanket, take my hand through it, thread this through. Open the blanket up, sort of get it even. Weight distributed evenly. And if everything went well, put my weight on it and have a perfect chair. And I do. And that's all there is to it. Super, super comfortable. So as it's standing now, I have a prop against a tree. This isn't freestanding or movable if it was in the tripod form I mentioned before. But because it's like this, I can actually prop it against a log that's, say, maybe this high, yay off the ground. And it'll sort of give me like a chaise lounge type deal. And I might even be able to do it against this tree and sort of give myself more of a lean back Adirondack style. Oh yeah, a little bit off center right now, but nonetheless functional. I could definitely fall asleep like this. So just changing the angle with the prop against the tree changes the comfort. And maybe you're hearing that right now, and on the fly, why not? Might as well go over. Gonna introduce new addition to Black Owl. This is Rosie. Stony rescued a pup. She's 2 years old. She's a mix. This is her first time actually out in the woods with us. She's been part of the family for 2 weeks. So we got her tied up because she needs to practice work on a leash before she can be out to roam around. Maybe you heard her. She's a very sweet dog. This is not going to be the last time you see her out with us. She wanted to be in. She was crying. South Carolina pup, not used to these PA winters. So I hope the video was helpful. She's playful. She wants to be in the camera frame. Really easy. Have any questions, let me know. Again, remember to check us out on Facebook. Black Owl on Facebook, Instagram. All that good stuff. This is Krik signing out with Black Owl Outdoors. Later, turtles.